So when I woke up this morning, little did I know it was International Women's Day or some bullshit like that. International Women's Day, because, you know, half the world's population needs a day. I mean, isn't that kind of sexist? Do we have an International Men's Day? Like, because if we have an International Women's Day, I'm going to be really pissed off if we don't have an International Men's Day, but that'd probably be called sexist or something like that. Because they would, you know what they probably would say? If you brought up an idea like International Men's Day, they would probably just be like, well, every day is International Men's Day because men are in charge and they're in control of the patriarchy and all this other bullshit. Anyway, so, you know, checking social media this morning, and the first thing I notice is apparently there's supposed to be some sort of general strike for women across the world. And it's supposed to be a day without women. And essentially what these people want is for women not to go to work, not to go shopping, and basically just don't do shit today. And I think the idea is, oh, we women are really going to show you men how important we are. And I'm not really sure why they think that men think we're unimportant, because I don't hear it from the men. I've never heard a man say anything like, you know, misogynist to the point where I thought that women were, you know, useless or worthless or whatever. You know, sometimes you walk down the street and some random guy is like, hey baby. I don't see how that's misogynist though. That's about all I've gotten. And maybe I'm just lucky. Maybe it's because I live in such a liberal area of the country that the men here just aren't misogynists. But see, I don't think there's any reason to think that either, because when I go to the Midwest to go visit my family out there, those men are gentlemen too. Men, just every area of the country that I've ever been to, I've ever lived in, met people from, the men are usually gentlemen. They're usually very polite and nice to women. They're not saying all these bullshit misogynist things that, you know, the feminists like to pretend that men are saying or thinking. And I don't know, this international a day without women strike, I mean, who the fuck can even participate in this? Like, you have to be, like, white. Well, okay, you don't have to be white. That's wrong. That's really wrong. But you're more likely to be white if you're rich. But the point is, you have to be privileged in order to be able to afford to do this. And I don't even like the idea of privilege as being a derogatory term, because I don't see anything wrong with it. But at a certain point, you're like, dude, you're essentially trying to say with this strike, and I know what's going to happen. If you are a woman who comes out against this strike because you think it's fucking stupid, what they're going to try to end up doing is saying, oh, well, you're not a real woman, or you're a traitor to your gender or some bullshit like that, or a traitor to your sex or some bullshit like that, if you don't participate. But guess what? Women like me who don't make a lot of money, who are trying to pay their bills, we can't afford to take a day off. We just can't afford it. The moms out there, What about the single moms? You want single moms and not being able to pay their bills or get fired from work because you think that it's a good idea to take a day off? Like, what the fuck? Do you know how shitty that would be for a single mom if she was just like, okay, yeah, I'm going to be empowered and a woman and not go to work. And then the next day she comes into work and her boss is like, yeah, you're fired because you didn't show up yesterday. And he'd be perfectly within his right to do that. Or her right could be a woman. What if you're a businesswoman and you own a business and you have, you know, your business bills to pay and stuff? Should those business women just completely shut down their businesses and not going to work? And potentially, you know, because they decided that they were going to shut down this, they didn't get whatever contracts or big business plans, or they missed out on, you know, how fucking selfish is this strike for these people? I mean, think about the Women's March here in Portland not too long ago. And the thing about that was, first of all, it was organized by a trans man, which I think is fucking hilarious. So this guy, he went to prison, and to try to get out of prison, he claimed that he was trans. And when they didn't believe him, he took nail clippers and castrated himself. Isn't that fun? Well, was that Portland? No. This was someone. Oh, no, I think it was Portland because I was reading about this. Let me look this up real quick because I don't want to say it wrong. Portland. Oh yeah, here it is. Portland's Women's March leaders an ugly feud as state probes missing money. So yeah, this is what I was thinking of. But I'm pretty sure it was led by a trans man too. Oh yeah, and right. So I did remember the story correctly. So yeah, he quote unquote transitioned or whatever, and they made all this money in Portland, and to try to get away with it, the guy was like, "You're transphobic," and he basically just stole a shit ton of money. And so now, like, the feminist community and the transgendered community are like all pissed at each other because of this asshole. And then apparently there's another pro-trans group, the Great Portland Trans Unity, who accused Brewis, the guy who stole the money, of a long history of contentious and harmful interactions with individuals and organizations in our communities, as well as racist attacks. So this guy who led the Women's March earlier this year, he's just batshit crazy. I don't think he actually thinks he's a woman. I think he did that for the sympathy points. And this is so frustrating. This whole thing, like, why do we have to be like so, you know, man versus woman? Like, no, dude, that's not how our society works. Men and women are actually supposed to work together, okay? And like, I just don't understand this divisiveness with wanting to have women's marches and a day without women. I mean, I think they got the point with the Women's March. You guys made headlines. I'm not gonna say we, because I wasn't part of the Women's March. That was another one. I was out like driving around doing my Uber shit, and I didn't realize that it was necessarily going on, and I ended up giving rides to several of the people who were at the Women's March, which I thought was hilarious because they were wearing their pink pussy hats, and they were wearing their pink little pussy hats. Oh my god. And they just look so stupid. All this identity politics stuff, it's just so pointless. Like, no. Okay, like, yeah, men get it. Women are really important. That's why most men treat most women really, really well. And I know there's situations out there where women are maybe discriminated against for one reason or another, which sometimes might be a legitimate reason. Like, why aren't women football players? Ooh, I wonder about that. You know, like, why don't we let the women into the NFL? Let's see how well that would work out. That would just be a lot of fun, wouldn't it? I don't know. I think that this day without women, I think it's just another scam. Just like the Women's March was a scam for people to sell shit and you know, make money that they're not gonna use, but accept on themselves. So like with the trans guy in Portland who stole all that money, he used it because he was in debt from his surgery, his reassignment surgery, which, god damn, like, seriously, these people are crazy. Like, why do we have a trans man, for instance, running a Women's March? Like, I don't understand that. I do not understand any of it. I think it's really funny to watch, though, because you get all these liberal, you know, bitches whining and complaining about how oppressed they are when they're like, oh yeah, I can afford to take a day off and not work. I don't have bills that I need to pay. Like, what the fuck? I don't get it. Like, and why do we need to keep screeching about this? Like, you guys made your point at the Women's March. You did. You really, really did. Because guess what? It was literally everyone, and everyone was talking about it. Like, does there need to be a constant discussion about how oppressed women are? Isn't that gonna just make women feel like they're oppressed? Like, isn't that kind of shitty to do to women? I don't know. From my perspective, I think it says a lot more about the people who are trying to organize these marches and their rhetoric in terms of how they actually view women. I'm kind of disgusted by it because women, here's the thing. I don't think the men in your life, if you have a life any even remotely similar to me, I don't think you have men just shitting on you constantly. I really don't think that's what's happening in your life. I think you have some sexist assholes. I think you have some people who are just jerks. And I think in some situations, you're in the wrong, okay? It says so much about how little you think of yourself, though, that you would buy into this. Like, why are you buying into this? Like, if you are a strong, independent woman, you need to just be like, fuck it, I'm a strong, independent woman. I'm gonna go make my money. I'm gonna go think my own thoughts. And I'm not gonna worry about what everybody else thinks of me. And if some asshole walks up to me and calls me a slut or a whore or a hoe or a prostitute or a cunt or whatever else, you just be like, bitch, you stupid, and walk away. That's right, you just be like, bitch, you stupid. That's all it is. That's all you gotta do. If somebody says something about you that you think is untrue or you think is discriminatory, all you gotta be is like, bitch, you stupid, and you walk away. That's all you gotta do. Like, seriously, don't think twice about it. Like, why are you upsetting yourself about this? And here's the thing. Women in our day and age have jobs literally everywhere, in every industry, all over the place. I give rides to women all the time, and a lot of them are business women. I don't understand how you people think that women in our society are somehow discriminated against or oppressed or held back. When I meet so many successful women, it just pisses me off. Like, I'm not successful, but, you know, we also live in a meritocracy, and I understand my shortcomings and my personal failures in that situation. I'm just pissed off for all the other women who are out there actually kicking ass and busting out and shit. And these fuckers with the Women's March and the fucking Day Without Women, like, you guys look down on these women so much, and you tell them that they're unsuccessful, and you tell them they're not doing well, and you tell them they're oppressed. Like, why do you keep telling us this? What are the young women out there, like the 12 or 15-year-old girls? What are they thinking when you keep telling us that we're oppressed, that you keep telling us that we can't get ahead, that you keep telling us that we're never going to be able to amount to anything? Like, what do you think actually happens in the minds of those young girls? You're fucking it up. You're discouraging those girls from actually wanting to go out and do things and accomplish things for themselves. And you know what? At the same time, you're making women like me, who I would actually really, really, really like to be something akin to a stay-at-home mom, or, yeah, basically a stay-at-home mom. I would really like to, you know, have like 5 or 6 kids. Maybe not that many. That's a little excessive. But more than 2. Like, and, you know, you make women like me feel like shit because we don't want the career. We won't want all that shit. It's just really... It's really frustrating, you know? Because you can't win on either side. On one end, it's like, I see all these women being successful and doing these things, and you're not happy with that. And you're really unhappy with someone like me who doesn't even want to buy into the feminist cause, who wants to go the exact opposite route. Like, so all I can think to myself right now is that this whole thing's just a giant scam to make women feel like shit about themselves no matter what they want or what they want to pursue in their lives. And it's just a big scam to get money out of them, because you target a woman's self-confidence. She'll probably give you money to try to make herself feel better. That's what happens. That's why they're doing this. And it's disgusting. And it's terrible. And it's not helping anything. It's not making women happier. It's making us more miserable. All of us. So you know what? Just stop. Just stop with this fucking protest and this bullshit. This identity politics. We have equal rights, ladies. We do. And if you work hard, you can get far in life. You can. So let's stop letting other people tell us that the world is colluding against us. Because it really, really, from my perspective, doesn't seem to be the truth. And if you let them eat at your self-confidence like that, they're going to be able to take advantage of you. And that's not good. You don't want to be taken advantage of by some random asshole who just pretends that they care about you. That's not fun. It hurts. So let's not do it. Let's just be our strong, independent selves, make our own goddamn decisions, and not listen to other people, okay? And if you want to be a CEO of a fucking, multi-million-dollar company, you got to be willing to make those sacrifices. You got to be willing to go through that hard work. You have to have, skill and talent and creativity and all those things. You have to earn it. You have to earn it like a man earns it. Men aren't given these things. They earn it. And if you choose to, go out of the workforce for 2 or 3 years to have children, you have to deal with those consequences as well. That's not a punishment. Your children are a reward to you. You have to remember that. Jeez. Having children is not a punishment. It's a choice, okay? And you're not punished in your career for doing it. But if you take time off of your career is going to suffer. And these are all choices that we have to make. But you are strong and you're an independent woman, so you need to be able to make those choices for yourself. And you need to be able to deal with the consequences of your own action and not put it on some patriarchy that doesn't exist, okay? If anything, our society is incredibly gynocentric. Women are literally in control of everything here. If 90% of the women were like, we want to go to war with Iran right now, we would probably end up going to war, so, relatively quickly, if that were to actually happen. Women are so in control of our society, and we cannot stop complaining. We have it so good. We have so many rights. We have everything just given to us. And when we are told we have to work a little bit, people get pissed off and they freak out. Or if someone says something rude to us, we call them sexist and we think that they're trying to hold us down and control us and whatever else. It's like, no, you're letting your anxiety and your fear control you. You gotta let that go. Because you want to have control of your own life, and you want to have control over your own thoughts, and you don't want other people to take advantage of you to try to sell you some false sense of security through some sort of product that's just, a sense of hope, essentially. And I mean, hope's really important, but you have to have reality to back that up. So I think it's better if you figure out how to, depend on yourself and on your social and family and community structures, rather than worrying about some made-up concept of patriarchy and these ideas that just don't seem to line up with reality.